I would like to now invite Ms. Desislava Semenova from the New Balkans Law Office to give us a quick overview on the Bulgarian citizenship programs.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Desislava Semyonova, and I'm a business development expert at New Balkans Law Office. New Balkans Law Office is a full-service law firm with offices in Sofia and London. We are specializing in assisting high-net-worth individuals interested in establishing a business in Bulgaria or interested in immigration matters. I have been a part of the team since 2018, and I'm handling the business development of the firm in India, Russia, and CIS countries. I hope that in the next 10 minutes, I will be able to introduce to you the Bulgarian Citizenship by Investment Program, and that my presentation will be useful for you. Before explaining the process itself, I would like to illustrate to you some of the advantages of the Bulgarian program in comparison to other such investor programs from which you may choose. Perhaps the first is useful to mention that Bulgaria joined the European Union in 2007. This means that the Bulgarian citizens can freely live, travel, and work within the EU countries. Another such advantage is of the Bulgarian program is the fact that the investment is actually recoverable if the applicant decides to invest in Bulgarian government bonds, which are generally viewed like low risk and secure. In principle, he can retrieve the funds after the relevant holding period. After that period, he can easily sell the bonds in the secondary market. Next thing is that the applicants are not expected to spend any time at all in the country during the whole period. The Bulgarian program does not require also any knowledge of the Bulgarian language at all. It's important to mention that family members can also benefit from the program. So your spouse and your children at any age can also obtain the Bulgarian citizenship. Children, regardless of their age, be it under or over 18 years old, and their status can become eligible to apply for the Bulgarian citizenship. Also, I would like to mention that Bulgaria, like Grenada, is also an E2 treaty country. So this grants you the access to both EU and after that to the USA. When choosing a program, it's important to do your own research of different programs and make sure that your choices fit to your needs and criteria. The Bulgarian program is certainly an investment type program, meaning that your funds are not lost. This is something that needs to be taken into consideration, that there is a very clear exit strategy once the process is completed. This is not the case in certain other programs from which you may choose, but if money is a factor, Bulgaria gives you a really good option. Now we talked about the benefits, but it's probably also important to talk a bit more about the options that are available at this moment. When we talk about the Bulgarian program, we can identify two so-called routes. One of them is the standard track, and another one is the fast track. Both start with making an investment of at least €500,000. This is about 41 million rupees. Once this investment is made, the applicant will be able to obtain an investment certificate and to apply for Visa D. With this visa, investor needs to fly to Bulgaria and apply for his permanent residence permit. Once the permanent residence status is granted, the investor needs to fly once again to Bulgaria to get his identity card. This is the time when his biometrics are being taken, and for this reason, the personal presence of the investor is necessary. These are the 2 single trips that you need to plan for the whole period of the Bulgarian program. Once obtained the permanent residence, the investor has 2 options. One of them is to wait for 5 years and apply for Bulgarian citizenship. If the investor wishes to speed up the process, he can wait only 1 year and then double the investment to take the standard or the fast track in the very beginning of the process. You can speed up the process at any time after holding the permanent residence permit for 1 year. As you know, different programs have different investment options. For example, investment in real estate, like in Cyprus, or donating funds, like in Malta. What is unique for Bulgaria is the presence of many different investment classes. More than 90% of the applicants in Bulgaria choose the option of investment in Bulgarian government bonds. For those who are not familiar with this instrument, I will clarify that government bonds are saving instruments backed by the government. Essentially, the applicant lends money to the Bulgarian government, and the government is obligated to pay some kind of interest to the investor every year. The applicant can be sure that his money is safe and that he has an exit strategy, because as I mentioned earlier, the bonds can be easily sold in the secondary market. There is also a number of investment classes that may be of interest to more confident investors. For example, an option is investment in shares of companies listed in the Bulgarian Stock Exchange. Another option would be an investment in intellectual property. And the fourth option may be of interest to investors who are really interested in developing a business in Bulgaria. This is the opening a private company with a capital of 3 million euro. Further, in the presentation, I will talk a bit more about the steps and the practical aspects of the program. I will tell you the process step by step on the example of investing in Bulgarian government bonds. Sorry. So the first step is to make the eligible investment. Then the investment certificate needs to be issued in the Bulgarian investment agency. We will be able to assist with this step locally. Once the certificate is issued, the investor will able to apply for the visa type D in the Bulgarian consulate. For example, in India, the Bulgarian consulate is based in New Delhi. The applicant needs to, the application needs to be done in person in the consulate. After obtaining the visa, the investor is required to come to Bulgaria for the PR application. And this can be a trip only for 1 day. Once the permanent residence permit is granted, the investor must come once again in person to issue the identity card. I would like to say that we accompany the investor in every single step and fully assist with the execution and the submission of the documents. What follows is the choice of the applicant to apply for citizenship in a year or in 5 years. If the investor chooses the fast track, he can apply for the citizenship immediately after making the second investment. The application for Bulgarian citizenship itself can be submitted in Bulgaria or at the Bulgarian consulate abroad, for example, in New Delhi. As you see, the process is not too complicated and it's very straightforward. Next, I would like to say a few words about the practical aspects, because this is what is unique and what is of interest to most people. It's important to mention that the investor can purchase the bonds using the services of his own broker and the bank where he already has an account. it's not necessary to open a bank account in Bulgaria and to move the funds to different jurisdiction. What is unique about us is our experience working with different private international banks and financial institutions, which can assist investors with the purchase of the bonds. I know that many of you maybe are interested what documents are required during the program. As soon as the process begins, we have the practice of advising each client individually what documents are required on each of the steps, taking into consideration his special circumstances. As you know, in Bulgaria, the official language is Bulgarian, and that means that all of the documents you provide will be translated and legalized into Bulgarian language, of course, with our help. And as I said, there is no need to stay in Bulgaria during the process. And basically, that's all. If you have any questions, I will be to answer them.
What I'd like to do is to invite Charlotte Brun, Residence and Citizenship Officer at Vista for Malta Citizenship Program, to share insights on that. Charlotte, all yours.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm just going to share my screen with you. So that you can see. All right, so my name is Charlotte Brun. I am a Residence and Citizenship Officer at Vista Malta since 2018 now. So today I'm going to speak about Malta. Malta is the country I chose to reside 4 years ago now, because I originated from France. So I would say I'm the living example of how to expatriate in Malta and how easy it is. So I'm first gonna give some details about the Maltese Islands, because maybe some people in the audience don't know what or where Malta is. Then I will develop the different residency and citizenship by investment programs that we have available in Malta, and I will finish with a small introduction to the Vista group. So the Maltese Islands, they're located in the middle of the Mediterranean, which we can see at my back. So we are at an ideal location between Europe, the north coast of Africa, and the Middle East. We are approximately 80 kilometers south from Sicily in Italy, and our capital city is Valletta. So in Malta, we're quite a small island. There are approximately 500,000 inhabitants, of which 70,000 are expatriates. So it's quite a large proportion of expats compared to other countries. It's a very welcoming country, so that's why it's liked by many expatriates. Pre-COVID-19, we had the lowest unemployment rate in Europe, of 3.3%, and we had one of the highest GDP growth in 2019 and in 2018 as well, which makes our economy very strong. So in Malta, just like India, we were a British colony up to 1964. We're now part of the European Union, of the Schengen area, and we also have euro as our currency. So I think there are many advantages that makes Malta very attractive for foreign investors and for expatriates in general. So firstly, English is the main language, is the official language with Maltese in Malta, so which makes these the steps very easy, because every document is in English. Everyone speaks English. It makes it very easy to communicate and integrate. I think it's important also to say that in these times of pandemic, the Maltese medical services and medical system, healthcare, is very excellent. In fact, we have one of the best healthcare in Europe, and we have been handling the COVID-19 crisis very well, with very few cases, very few deaths, and lots of recovery. I will finish and pick another advantage that I think is very important for expatriates is the connection to Europe and to the rest of the world. We are a small island, but we have direct flights to most European capitals, if not all, once a day at least, obviously when traveling permitted. And for our audience in India and also in the rest of Asia, we have direct flights directly from Dubai and Doha, which makes it very easy to reach Malta or go back to visit your family whenever you like. So I'm going to start speaking about those programs that we have in Malta. So firstly, in general, Malta is very attractive for foreign investors because of the accessibility to the Schengen area, since we are part of it, which makes it very easy to do business outside of Malta as well. We have a moderate cost of living, and all the programs are obviously family friendly and business friendly, which I will develop in a bit. So usually our clients use Malta as an entry point to do business in the whole European Union, or to send their children to study in another country in the European Union. And Vista Malta obviously helps from start to finish all the needs of our clients. So the first program I would like to talk about is the Malta Residency and Visa Program, which is called, in other words, the Golden Visa Program. So basically the successful applicant would be granted a Maltese residence card. With this card, one can travel within the Schengen area along with a passport without visa. The card works as a visa, which is very practical. With this card, the applicant and the rest of his immediate family will be able to reside in Malta, work and settle indefinitely, but there is no minimum stay requirement at all. It's very open. This program has a few main conditions. Obviously, to be a fit and proper person, there is a financial commitment of 30,000 euros for the main applicant, the spouse and the children. There's also an investment of 250,000 euros to be made in stocks or bonds listed on the Maltese Stock Exchange. And of course, the successful applicant will need to purchase or lease a property on the Maltese Islands. The second program I would like to mention is the Global Residence Program. So this is a tax residence program. Just like the MRVP, the successful applicant would receive a Maltese residence card to be able to travel within the Schengen area freely. However, this program grants the successful applicant with the special Malta tax status, which basically allows the holder not to pay any tax on any foreign source income that are not remitted in Malta. There will be an income tax rate of 15% on any income that are arising outside Malta but remitted to Malta, a flat income tax rate of 35% on any income arising in Malta, and this is all subject to an annual income tax payable of 15,000 euros. So for this program, which is very important, is that the applicant does not reside in another country more than 6 months in a year, simply because in that case, the tax residence may be shifted to this other country and the applicant may be taxed somewhere else. To apply for this program, one must be a fit and proper person. There is a small financial commitment, and there's also the real estate requirement to purchase or own a property on the Maltese Islands. The third program that I want to talk about is the Malta Individual Investor Program, which is a citizenship program. So this program is very popular in Malta because the successful applicant will be granted a Maltese passport and identity card, which makes him and its immediate family Maltese citizens, hence European citizen. So thanks to that, since the Maltese passport is a very powerful one, you'll be able to travel visa-free to over 180 countries, which includes obviously the Schengen area, but also the United States and Canada. And obviously, the new Maltese citizen would be able to access all investment and employment opportunities within the whole European Union, just like any other EU citizen. For example, once the Maltese passport is granted, the family can move to Italy, to Germany. They can send their children to study in France. They can do business in Spain. They can do whatever is open to EU citizen, all opportunities within the whole European Union. This program has a very strict policy on due diligence. There's a thorough due diligence check. The main condition is the financial contribution of 650,000 euros for the main applicant. There are additional contribution for additional dependents. There is a security investment of 150,000 euros to be made in stocks or bonds that are listed on the Malta Stock Exchange. There's also the need to purchase or lease a property on the Maltese island. And the main applicant will be also required to build some kind of connection to Malta through companies or donations, club memberships, anything that builds a connection with Malta. The presence of the applicants are required only at the beginning of the process to have their biometrics taken for their first temporary residence card, and also at the end of the process when taking the oath of allegiance to have the Maltese passport. So the Maltese, the MIIP is a very strong program. It's the only program in the European Union that is actually vetted by the European Commission. So it gives the investor some kind of certainty about their investment in their future, in their family's future. So now I'm just gonna give some details about the Vista group. So the Vista group is present worldwide. As you can see, we are employing over 4,500 individuals in over 80 offices across 45 jurisdictions. We have a strong presence in India. We have 9 offices in India, and you are most known in the name of Vista ITCL in India, where we are the largest trustee there. So you can always reach out to any of our colleagues in India for help or questions. In Malta, we not only give advice on residency and citizenship by investment, but we're also helping company formation and corporate structures, trust and foundation, accounting and tax, and we also have our very own dedicated team for marine and aviation. So obviously, detailing those programs would take hours, and unfortunately, my presentation is very short, but I'm happy to take more questions regarding Malta or the programs now. And please feel free to take note of my email address so that you can just drop me a line, and I'll be happy to discuss with you what's best for your needs and any other question you may have about Malta. So Hemming, back to you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Charlotte, for the presentation. Yeah, it was very, very succinct and short, to the point.